Good morning, my dear students. I am here to take up the classes on management and entrepreneurship for all the three sections A, B, and C. Okay. In the previous classes, as Suresh sir and me discussed about the various concepts related to Module 1 and Module 2. In the Module 1, we have discussed about management concepts, wherein we deal with what are the characteristics of management and what actually is particular management, and we have discussed about planning as well as organizing. And also in the second module, we have discussed about directing and controlling process, isn't it? So, and the various styles involved in controlling process. So the next module in this particular chapter is entrepreneurship. In this particular chapter, we will be discussing about what actually this particular word entrepreneurship is. What is the meaning of an entrepreneur and how this particular entrepreneurship came into existence in this particular real world. And who have founded this particular term called as entrepreneur. And what is the difference between entrepreneur and entrepreneurship? That we will be discussing in the first concept, whereas second we will be discussing the various characteristics of entrepreneurship, types of entrepreneurship, stages of entrepreneurship, role of economical activity in of an entrepreneur in an organization. Also, we will be discussing about the disadvantages of an entrepreneur. That is nothing but we call it as barriers of an entrepreneur. And also, we will be discussing about how entrepreneurship came into existence and how it was in India earlier and how it is now. And also, we will be discussing about the various business opportunities which we will be dealing with financial aspects and financial oriented businesses as well as non-financial oriented businesses. Okay, the first concept in this particular module 1 is entrepreneurship. So this particular word entrepreneurship came into existence in the earlier in 1980s or 1970s, and this particular word entrepreneur was derived from the French word called as entreprendre. Earlier, this particular word entrepreneur was called as entreprendre, and this particular word entreprendre was used it was used earlier, it was used for the social activities which was carried out by different people, and also for the contractors who take the contract of musical contract like orchestra. The one who takes the contract of orchestra in a particular function, the one who takes some contract for managing the events in the organization, for them they used to call this particular word called as entrepreneurship. The one who takes the contracts of various events which need to be carried out in and around the world, for them they used to call it as they used to call as entrepreneur. And later in 1990s, this particular entrepreneur was used for army people, like we call them as majors, right? The one who acts as an head of that army team, we call them as majors. Earlier we used to call them as entrepreneurs, and later it was used for the one who constructs the house. The one who constructs the house, for them they used it as entrepreneur. See here, the word entrepreneur was derived from the French word which is called as entreprendre, and this particular word entrepreneur was used earlier, it was used for musicians as well as the event organizers, and this particular word later they used it for army leaders, then they use it for civil contractors, but they haven't used this particular word entrepreneur for the one who acts as owner of an organization. Later in 1990s, this particular person with the name called as Cantillon and Irishman, these two persons, they used this particular term called as entrepreneur to the economical activities. When it comes to an economical activities point of view, we will be coming across with different organizations where we deal with various economical activities like giving and taking the economy. When this particular word, when they brought this particular word into economical development activities, then this particular word was used for referring the owner of an organization. The owner of an organization is considered as entrepreneur. And what is an what is the difference between entrepreneur and entrepreneurship? The term entrepreneur is used for the owner of the organization. The one who owns the organization is considered as entrepreneur. What is meant by entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, the another name of entrepreneurship is nothing but organization. What is an organization? An organization is a building wherein various activities is going to happen in order to achieve a specific goal of an organization. So the term entrepreneur is nothing but the owner of the organization, and the term entrepreneurship is nothing but the organization wherein we perform various activities to achieve the goal of an organization. So according to Cantillon, he says that an entrepreneur is the one who buys the product from someone for certain price and sells the same product into the market for uncertain prices. Like one best example that I can give for the first definition is, I am the owner of a particular shop. Let us say I am the owner of a particular general stores. What I do as an owner, I will buy the products from the various merchants who gives me the products for wholesale price. If I buy something like 10 items, 10 same items, then he will be providing me 10 plus 2. Like it is nothing but he will be providing me certain price which is not into the market. And he will be providing me a particular product for certain price, and I will take that particular product and I will sell it into the market for uncertain price. What is the difference between certain price and uncertain price here? See, it is a person who buys the product at certain price. What is certain price? Certain price is nothing but a fixed price by the wholesale dealer of an organization. I will buy the product from the wholesale dealer. He will be fixing up the price for certain product, saying that this particular product is 10 rupees. And you have to sell this particular product for 12 rupees into the market, and you will be getting a margin of 2 rupees. So 10 rupees is nothing but a certain price. But when I will take that particular product, and maximum I can get 2 rupees profit. Sometimes if I get 1 rupee profit, or if I get 1.5 rupees profit instead of 2 rupees profit. Why? Because every time we can't say that we will be getting new customers. When old customers comes to us, automatically we will give some sort of discounts to them, saying that since he is a old customer to us. So instead of taking 2 rupees from him, I will take 1 rupee from him. Instead of taking 1 rupee from other people, I will take 1 rupee 50 paisa. Instead of taking 1 rupee 50 paisa, I will take 2 rupees. So profit is one which is not stagnant always. I can't say that I require this, the wholesaler has said me I will get 2 rupees. Wholesaler has said that I will get 2 rupees. So I have to get 2 rupees only. It is not like that. When it comes to the business point of view, we can't say that I need 2 rupees from this 2 rupees for each and every piece of this particular product compulsory. Sometimes we may get 2 rupees, sometimes we may get 1 rupee 50 paisa, sometimes we may get 1 rupee also. So that when the profit is not stagnant and the profit is not constant, then we call it as uncertain price. So uncertain price is nothing but selling the product into the market at uncertain price indicates that sometimes I may get maximum profit, sometimes I may get minimum profit, or sometimes I may get medium profit based upon the customer, based upon the type of customer. The entrepreneur is going to sell the product into the market depending on his customer and the requirement of the customers. Sometimes I may, like, that is what this uncertain price speaks about. Whereas certain price is nothing but fixed amount. I will be buying this particular product for 10 rupees, but I will sell it into the market for 12 rupees. Sometimes I will sell it into the market for 12 rupees. Sometimes I will sell it into the market for 11 rupees. Sometimes I will sell it into the market for 13 rupees and so on. And this type of entrepreneur, we call them as the one who runs the small organizations. We call them as the one who runs the small organizations. Whereas the another definition of entrepreneur is a person who tries to bring something new into the organization, develops the product and sells it in the market. New innovative ideas, developing some new innovative ideas, converting that particular idea into the product and trying to sell that particular product into the market which is not existing. The product which is not existing and trying to develop that particular product. Like for example, there are various types of products which we are seeing right now. Like we have ACs, we have refrigerators, we have laptops, desktops and so on. What is the new innovation that I can bring into the society? That has to be taught, that has to be taken care by the entrepreneur. Like today we have laptops, everything, and what might be the next requirement of and predicting the market, what might be the next requirement of society, predicting the next requirement of the society, identifying some new ideas into it and developing that particular idea into the product and trying to sell it into the market is one of the major risks of an entrepreneur. Sometimes he may be successful, sometimes he may not be successful. Why? Because the people may like the new product or may not like the new product. So that is what he has to take the risk. He has to take the risk in order to handle this economical uncertainty which is involved in the enterprise, and this enterprise is also called as organization which is involved in the enterprise. So whenever an entrepreneur tries to develop some new product which is not in the market, an entrepreneur is the one who tries to bring something new to the market and try to sell it into the market. When he brings some new and try to sell it into the market, automatically the risk is involved. Why? Because the product is new and the product may get some good value or may not get some good value, because it depends upon the people mentality, it depends upon the what is the use of them and how to use, they must have some certain knowledge about the new product, why we have to buy this particular product. So making them to understand and trying to make them to buy this particular product is a big task for the entrepreneur. So in those particular cases, he has to take a lot of risk and he has to maintain all the economical uncertainties which is going to come towards him. We can't say that each and every product which I am developing in a specific company will be successful one. Sometimes I will be successful, sometimes I may not be successful. If I am successful, then I will be getting a very good economy. If I am not successful, then I will be losing economy and I will be under a loss. So whether the profit or loss, he has to maintain it in a balanced manner. Then only we call them as a good entrepreneur. Or we can say them as a good owner of a specific organization or an owner who knows well about the market. So like this is what the two definitions of an entrepreneur. One is the person, the first definition says that he is not going to develop anything. The entrepreneur is not going to develop anything. Instead, he is going to buy the product for certain price from someone and sell that particular product into the market at certain uncertain prices. Whereas this one, the second definition, speaks about bringing some new innovative products into the market and trying to sell that particular products into the market. New innovative products which has been developed by their organization and trying to sell that particular products into the market for some price. When we do this, there will be a lot of risk which is involved in it. The risk may be in terms of profit, handling the profit, or it may be in the form of handling the loss. So with both profit and loss must be well balanced according to the requirement of the organization by the entrepreneur of an organization only. Employees will not do anything in this case. Employees will work according to the instructions given by the entrepreneur. That is nothing but the owner of the organization. What type of instructions that he has to give? He has to give the instructions in such a way that the employees must understand the concept, as well as the instructions which has been given by the entrepreneur must be helpful for the society. Then only he can achieve the success. Then only he can achieve the success on the development of new products. If it is not so, then it will be very difficult for him to become a very good entrepreneur of an organization. And if he doesn't take the risk, instead of taking the risk, if he says, I need profit every time, if I don't get profit every time, then you will be fired from the organization. Then it comes under, then we call him as the one who doesn't have a knowledge of handling the various situations in the organization. When he doesn't have the various knowledge of handling various situations in the organization, then we call him as an entrepreneur who doesn't have the skills of managing the organization. So this is what the definition of second definition speaks about. And here, an entrepreneur comes across with various risks. As I said, one is finance risk, second one is strategic risk, and the third one is technology risk. What is finance risk? As I said, the financial aspect is a one which has to be put forward to a specific organization which has newly opened by the entrepreneur only. Owner of the organization as the one who has to fund that, who has to keep some fund for the organization, isn't it? Yes or no? I want to open an organization. So what I have to do? What is the first step that you are going to do? Please answer. If I want to open an organization, what is the first and foremost step that you are going to do? Let us say I want to open a general store in Bangalore Road, or I want to open a fancy store in a Bangalore Road. So what is the first step that you are going to do here? Don't you people have the knowledge of market? Please, either speak out. Please speak out.
Manage financial problems or requirements.
Okay, managing financial problem. What is the first step that you people are going to do? What is the first step? So I want to open a general store in Bangalore Road. Okay, what is the first step that you are going to do?
Select the location.
First is location selection. Okay, next. Next. After location, estimation, how much amount is required for me in order to open this particular organization, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You have to estimate the fund. How much fund is required for me in order to open this particular organization based upon the location also. After estimating the fund, what is the next step that you are going to do?
Resources, sir.
You will identify the various resources which are required for me in order to open this particular organization. Fine, next.
Analyze requirements, sir.
After analyzing the requirements itself, you will find the resources. You will identify the resources. Isn't it? After identifying the resources, next step is we have to get the registration done on that particular organization, isn't it? Registration from the government, saying that I want to open this particular organization in so and so place, and I want a GST and CST number as well as TIN number in order to open this particular organization. Yes or no? We will apply for registration of our new organization. Once we get this particular registration done, then only we will be opening the organization by taking the support of all the resources which has been brought by me based upon the estimated fund. Yes or no? So these are the 5 different steps, that 5 important steps which we need to follow in order to open any enterprise, whether it may be a small enterprise or big enterprise. So when we open this particular enterprise by using this particular 5 different steps, the first and foremost thing is the entrepreneur faces is, he won't be getting profit suddenly. Isn't it? As soon as you open a shop, can you expect 50,000 profit every day? Or can you expect 5,000 profit every day? Yes or no? The profit which we are going to get is at uncertain price only. Sometimes I may get 5,000, sometimes I may get 2,000, sometimes I may get 0 also. Yes or no? It is unpredictable profit. Unpredictable profit. When we come across with unpredictable profit, any enterprise you take in and around the world, the profit which the organizations are going to get is unpredictable. Whether they get more, sometimes they will be getting more profit, sometimes they will be getting 0 profit also. So when they get more profit, not an issue. When the owner of the organization starts getting the good profit every day, he will be happy or no?
Yes, sir.
He will be happy. At the same time, the workers who are working under him will be happy because he is paying the salary in time. But if the owner gets profit for some time, and if he doesn't get the profit, first month he got a very good profit. In the second month, if he doesn't get a very good profit as expected by him, what he has to do, what he will be doing. As a owner, what you will be doing. You have some three members as employees in your organization. Let us say you have three employees in your organization, and each and every person is paid with 5,000 as a salary. So 15,000 salary you are going to pay, and at the same time you are going to pay something around 28,000 rent. So totally the rent and the salary of three employees is something around 35,000, isn't it? 35,000 is for salary and rent. And you are getting only 20,000 profit. Second month you got only 20,000 profit. What you are going to do? Understood my question? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What you are going to do? I am getting
We'll find out.
first month I got
To increase the profit rates, sir. Yes, sir.
find out the
New ways to increase the profit rate.
okay, third month you think of a new thing where you can increase the profit. What about the second month? Second month I am getting loss. Third month I will think of a new idea, what I can do in order to increase my profit from 20,000 to 35,000 again. What is the second month strategy that you are going to plan? Second month you are under loss. And if you pay 15,000 rupees for employees and if you pay 15,000 for employees and 5,000 is remaining and you need to pay rent of 15,000, so you are lagging behind 10,000. What you are going to do?
Removing one or two employees.
Huh?
Removing one or two employees.
You will remove one or two employees. This is the thing which must not be there in an entrepreneur. When you are under a profit, you will be happy and you won't be hurting the employee. But when you get some loss in the second month, you can't say that the same loss will be continued for the third month and fourth month and fifth month also, right? We can expect some more rather than what we have got lost in the second month. Sometimes we may get 45,000, 60,000, 80,000 in the third, fourth and fifth month. Second month is lost. Okay, fine. That particular balancing nature must be there in the entrepreneur. If you get a loss, you can't say that this month I have got a loss and I am not going to pay you the salary. If this is the case, then he is considered as a very bad entrepreneur. So financial risk, maintaining the financial risk of an entrepreneur is one of the important tasks that he has to maintain. He has to balance the things in such a way that it must not hurt the employees who are working in the organization. Even though he is under a loss, he must pay the employees a full salary with full-fledged and whatever the assurance that has been given by the entrepreneur to the employees when they come into the company, the same thing must be continued even if the entrepreneur is under a loss. So that is what the financial risk speaks about. If today you got loss and you are removing two employees, why? Because I need 15,000 to be paid to the rent and 5,000 for the employees. So 20,000 is okay, fine. Today you will remove 2 employees. Again next month you will get something. Next month you will get something around 50,000. Then again you will take 3 employees. Next month if you get lost, again you will remove 1 employee. Can we do that?
No,
If
sir.
you do that as an entrepreneur, as the owner of your organization, if you do that, will the employees will show interest towards your organization?
No, sir.
Whether the employees, as soon as the employees doesn't show the interest towards your organization, and once the society comes to know about your enterprise that this particular enterprise is not stable, will they come into your organization to buy something? When the customer that your organization is lost, is not stable, automatically the customers also becomes less. As soon as the customers becomes less, automatically instead of getting 20,000, you may get something around 10,000 or 5,000 and so on. See, enterprise, when we want to become an entrepreneur, it is a long-term goal to achieve the task. It is not a short-term goal. As soon as ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು 1 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಒಂದು ಅಂಗಡಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿನಿ, ನನಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬರೋ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ 1 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ 2 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. If you invest something, you have to wait for some time, at least for 2 to 3 years in order to gain more profit from it. Then only you can be a successful entrepreneur in any organization. And this is what the financial risk speaks about. The second risk here is strategic risk. Strategic risks are of different types. Strategic risk may be related to project plan, or it may be related to financial plan, whether it may be related to various plans which comes under strategic risk. So, like for one best example that I can tell you here is, you are earning something around 25,000. Example for strategic plan. Okay, you are the employee of a specific organization and you are earning something 25,000 every month. And based upon your earning, you will think of saving something from it, isn't it? Like out of 25,000, I will save 5,000 every month. I will save 5,000 every month. This is your strategy. And what you will be thinking? What is your idea? 5,000 every month. For 1 year, 60,000 I will be saving. Second year, 60,000, totally 1,20,000. Next year, 60,000, totally 1,80,000. This is your strategy. Okay. Can you follow the same strategy every time?
No, sir.
5,000 for 10 years. 5,000 every month I have to save for 10 years. Is it possible for us to maintain the same strategy every year?
No, sir.
Why?
No, sir.
Why? Why no?
Each and every year it should get upgraded, sir.
Fine, upgraded,
Because the
okay,
profits
but
are
minimum?
uncertain and we may not.
Huh?
Profits are uncertain, sir. We can't take up to the same amount every time.
No, you are getting a fixed amount, right? You are getting a fixed amount and you want to pay 5,000 rupees as your savings every year, every month. So, see, depending upon the situation of your family, depending upon the situation of some uncertain things which is going to come in our life, we can't say that every month I used to save 5,000 rupees, but after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, I am not able to save even 2,000 rupees. Why? Because the responsibilities are becoming more. As soon as the responsibilities becomes more, the strategy which I was designed for first year, the strategies which was designed by me for as soon as I joined the company, the strategy which was designed for first year may not be present for second year. See, in this drastic world, when it comes to the company point of view, when it comes to the entrepreneurship point of view, in this particular world, the pace of changing the technology, the pace of strategic changes which is going to happen in the organization is not stable at all. Yes or no? Whether the whether the company which which I have opened will, if it works on the same product every day, every time for n number of years, then it may not provide you more profit. The strategy is not about predicting what might be the future. It is about the present status. What is the plan that you are designed for today? What might be the plan for tomorrow? It depends upon the development of society. It depends upon the development of the society. Strategic plan is one of the important tasks which the entrepreneur has to think about, wherein he has to think about how to handle the various situations of the organization depending upon the requirement of the market. The strategy will not be stable every time. I can't say that I will save 5,000 every month. So today I may save, tomorrow I may not save, because depending upon the situations of the society or depending upon the situations of the family. When it comes to the personal point of view, we think about the family. But when it comes to the organization point of view, we have to think about the society's requirement. The society's requirements, day by day, it is changing drastically. Today I am in need of Android phone. Tomorrow I may be in need of some other phone. Day after tomorrow I may be in need of some other phone. Depending upon the skills and techniques which is required for me in order to adopt myself for my work. So when the customers are like that, the strategies may not be stable every time. The strategies will change. So based upon the strategic change, we have to change the environment of our organization also. So every time I can't say that my environment of my organization will be working on the same technology. The environment of my organization technology changes drastically depending upon the strategic plan which I am going to design based upon the requirement of the requirement of the societies only. We will think about the society. Based upon that, the strategy changes every time drastically more often. As an owner, I can't fix to a single phase. I have to fix to n number of phases depending upon the requirement of the society. That is what the strategic plan speaks about. Whereas technology risk. Earlier, we used to develop a products using C language. Later, we use C++. Later, we use Java. Now, today, every day we are using something else. We are unpredictable. Technology is changing drastic. Today, full stack development. Tomorrow, develops. Day after tomorrow, Python. Day after tomorrow, artificial intelligence. Day after tomorrow, machine learning. If this particular process is taking place every day in technology, can you say that I am not going to change my technology based upon the requirement of the societies? Can you say that? Sir, I was working on Java and I will work on Java only. I won't work for Java++. Java++ is not there, just for your example I am telling you. If I will not work for Java++. If you doesn't work for Java++, then you will be fired from the organization as an employee. Similarly, if an entrepreneur, if the owner doesn't adopt to the changes which is going to take place in the outside society, in order to compete with other companies, we need to change the technology. If I want to change the technology, then I have to change the technology and I have to train my employees and I have to make them more effective in order to work according to the new technology which is emerging today. So technology changes is also one of the important risk factor of an entrepreneur who has to think about. As soon as the technology in the society changes, he has to adopt. Its best example is Nokia. Nokia was the founder of mobiles. Now, are you people able to see Nokia anywhere? They started the mobiles. They started with black and white, then later they started with MP3 with black and white, then they started with color mobile, and then they started with 6600 as a new mobile, which was existing in early years, in 2008, 2007 time. Later, when Android came into existence, they were not thinking of changing their technologies from Windows platform to Android. But Android clicked more and Samsung and the other companies came forward and the development of develop and the sales of that particular mobile was more related to Android compared to Windows. So automatically the Nokia company got very big loss. Why? Because they haven't adopted the changing technology which has happened in the society. If I don't change the technology, whether you are a big company or in the small company, if you don't change the technology according to the society's need, and if you like, if the Nokia would have adopted that particular Android, and if they have developed that particular product, they would be in the topmost position today. But they haven't done that. So since they haven't done that, they lagged behind of that particular mobile development process. So what this particular example speaks about is, as soon as the technology changes, the entrepreneur also adopt to the new technology which has been changed in the market in order to compete the other companies. If I want to compete with the other company, then I have to adopt those new changes, and I have to make my employees to be more effective on this particular changing technology and work on according to the changing technology and develop the products. So these are the three important factors the entrepreneur must think about. One is financial risk, second one is technology risk, and the third one is strategic risk. Strategic risk, keep in mind, if someone asks you as a owner whether the strategy which you have designed today will be stable for long period of time, no, because based upon the market, the strategy also changes. Today's strategy may be outdated for tomorrow. Today's strategy which I have designed for today may be outdated for tomorrow. Tomorrow's strategies may be outdated for day after tomorrow. Why? Because the strategy is dependent on the market. It is dependent on the market. Based upon the market, we need to design our own particular strategy every day, every time, until you become a success. As well as after becoming a success, the strategy also changes depending upon the development of the organization. So this is what about the entrepreneurship is. So here that just I will glance you once again. The term entrepreneur came into existence with the word called as entreprendre, which was derived by French. And this particular word entrepreneur was used for various contractors like musicians and event organizers. Later this was used for army leaders, and later it was used for civil contractors, and finally this particular word entrepreneur was used for economical activities. When this particular entrepreneur came into existence for economical activities, they started using this particular word entrepreneur for owner of the organization. Who is the owner of an organization? The founder of an organization is considered as the owner of an organization, and that particular owner is considered as an entrepreneur. And this particular person, entrepreneur, is the one who is going to buy the products from various vendors at certain price and sells that particular product at uncertain price to others, to the customers, various customers. And this particular uncertain price is nothing but it is not a stable profit, it is not a constant profit, it is unconstant profit, or it is, we can say it as non-stable profit. Sometimes we may get more, sometimes we may get less. Whereas the other definition speaks that he is the one who is a creator, who creates something new, develops the product and try to sell it to the market. And there are a lot of risk which is involved into it. And the various risks which are involved into it is financial risk, second one is technology risk, and the third one is finance risk, technology risk, and pardon? Strategic risk. Okay, fine. So this is what about the introduction of entrepreneurship. So the next concept here is characteristics. What are the various characteristics the entrepreneur must have? So there are nearly 13 to 15 characteristics which has to be adopted by the entrepreneur in order to become a very good entrepreneur in the society. The first and foremost characteristics is initiative. What is the meaning of this initiative? Initiative is nothing but taking the decision at the initial point of time before starting the work is one of the important assets of an entrepreneur. He is the one who is going to take the decisions. So what type of decisions he is going to take depends upon the type of organization, depends upon the type of business that he is going to carry out. So when I want to carry out a specific business, I have to take an initial step and I have to take a proper decision. So initiative speaks about doing something or deciding something before starting something. Once you decide, then only you have to start. Without deciding, you can't start anything. If you start something without deciding, then that may be a non-predictable work which you are carrying out. So when I want to do something, first decide what has to be done, how it has to be done, and how to be executed, and when it has to be executed. So this is what and process which has to be carried out by the entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the one who has to take the initial decision before starting any sort of work, whether it may be related to the business of developing new products, whether it may be related to business of developing new products, or whether it may be selling the products into the market, or whether it may be giving the service to the market. There are different types of business. One is service oriented, then one is development oriented, and the other one is non-profitable business oriented process. So depending upon the type of work the entrepreneur is going to carry out, he has to think first. Initially he has to decide and he has to think about what is the thing that has to be done, how it has to be done, and how it has to be implemented, and how it has to be sold into the market. So these are the things that he has to think about before starting any business. Thus, in this particular definition, what is the meaning of this particular definition? I want answer from your end. Does things before asked or forced by event? First line, what is the meaning of this? Entrepreneur does the things before asked or forced by the event. Before forcing for the event, he wants to do something. What is that particular something? That particular something is nothing but taking an appropriate decision about what has to be done, how it has to be done, and how it has to be implemented, when it has to be implemented. That has to be designed and planned by the entrepreneur. Whereas the second one is pursuing opportunities. Second characteristic speaks that whenever an entrepreneur gets an opportunity to do something new, he has to grasp he must not avoid those particular things. Instead, he has to take it as a challenging task and he has to work on the particular new things which comes into him as the new opportunities in the organizations. Whenever we get some, like one example that I can tell you is, I am the entrepreneur and I am working on a platform which is related to Java platform, and I am working on designing the web pages. Next, one contractor or a customer came to me saying that, sir, I am in need of a particular web page, and that particular web page must be designed in .NET platform rather than Java platform. So this is a new opportunity which I am going to get. We need to develop the web pages only, but the technology has to be changed. The coding part must be changed. It must be converted. Java must be converted to .NET. So this is the new opportunity which I am going to get from the other customer. So when you get this type of thing, what you will do? We have got a new opportunity of developing a new web page in the other technology which is called as C# or .NET. Earlier I was developing Java. Now I want to use C#. That is the requirement of customer. When you get this type of opportunity, what you are going to do? Please answer. Understood my question?
Adopt new technology.
Understood my question, right?
New technology which is required by the.
Yeah. Adopting to the new technology, accepting the challenge. I don't know whether I will be successful or not, isn't it? Once you get an opportunity, it is a challenging task. Why? Because I haven't worked on C# till today. But I got a challenging task that I have to develop this particular same web page by using C#. So it is a challenging task. Challenging tasks are nothing but a new opportunities which we are going to get from the market. If I say that, no, I am not going to develop this particular web page using the C Sharp, why? Because I am not familiar with this and I am sorry. If I say this, then we will be losing the reputation in the society. Why? Because this particular company, they say that this particular company is one which is just for Java purpose. It is not getting updated with the new things based upon the new customers. When these things comes into the picture, then automatically the enterprise name and fame will become down. If he doesn't accept the new opportunities, if he doesn't accept the new challenges from the society or from different customers and take it into consideration and develop a particular product, if it doesn't do this, then automatically, indirectly, it will affect the name and fame of the organization also. So perceiving opportunity, an entrepreneur must be able to accept the various business opportunities which is going to come towards him from different customer, and he has to take it as a challenging task and he has to complete that particular product by taking some necessary actions which is most essentially needed for us. Actions may be getting some new resources into the organization and developing the product. So this is what about the pursuing opportunity speaks about. Whereas the third characteristics here is persistence. What is persistence? In Kannada, if I want to say, persistence is nothing but we call it as chala. Nanidu ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು. This is what the meaning of persistence in Kannada. So what this particular persistence speaks about is the course of chala. Like if we have if we have only persistence, it doesn't speaks anything. Persistence needs actions. If you have, sir, I want to become a software engineer, that is your aim, that is nothing but your goal. That goal is nothing but in Kannada we call it as ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಛಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇದಾಗಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಛಲ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಆ ಛಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. I have aim of becoming a software engineer. So what is the thing that I have to do to become a software engineer? That is nothing but a course of action. Planning for reaching the goal which you have designed by you. Taking repeated actions or course of actions in order to achieve the goal of organization. Achieve the goal of an organization, even if any obstacles comes into the picture in between. We must not give up. We must not give up. That is what persistence speaks about. Taking repeated actions, repeated and different actions, or we can say it as course of actions. Course of actions need to be carried out by you in order to achieve the goal of your organization. So what are those course of actions? Course of actions are nothing but it depends upon the work you are going to carry out. If you are a student, the course of action that you have to plan is how you have to study and what is the technology that you have to learn for and what are the various skills that you are in need of getting into the software sector, or what are the various skills that you are in need of getting into the entrepreneurship sectors. It depends upon your goal. It depends upon your goal. If you are a student and if you want to become an entrepreneur, your your actions will be different. And if you are a student and if you want to become a software engineer, the actions will be different. If I am a teacher, and my actions will be different depending upon the type of subject that I am going to teach. So course of action will not be same for everyone. Course of action depends upon the type of organization that you are going to run. So if you want to achieve something, then this course of action is most essentially needed for us unless you achieve that particular task. Once you achieve that particular task, the course of action is not required. Until you achieve that particular task, we need to plan and execute the course of actions in different manners until you reach that particular goal. Even if you get some obstacles in between, you must not give up. Instead, you must move further. That is what persistence speaks about. Whereas information gathering, the fourth characteristics here is information gathering. Information gathering is nothing but why the entrepreneur need to gather the information. From where he has to gather the information? An entrepreneur must gather the information from various experts as well as from the customers as well as from the business industry which is running into the market with in terms of meetings and so on. Why we require this particular information? Information gathering will help the entrepreneur to come up with some new ideas in order to develop some new products, and it also helps them to know what is the needs of the clients, that is nothing but the customers, what is the needs of the suppliers, and what is the needs of our employees who are working in the organization. If you gather the information, then only it is possible for you to satisfy everyone in all the aspects. If you satisfy everyone in all the aspects, then only you can earn some more profit in your organization. So without gathering the information, if I say I am the owner and I am not going to gather any information from anyone and I am not interested to listen anybody's words. If as an employee, if I go to our principal and say that, sir, I need so and so in order to execute this particular task for the students. If he is not ready to listen and if he says that it is none of your business and I am not going to listen any words from your end, and even instead I am not going to listen any words from any of the employees. So if this is the case, then what happens is, so he is not going to gather the information at all. When he doesn't gather the information from the employees who are working under him, then he won't be knowing that, he won't be coming to know that where we are lagging behind. What is the requirement of customer? What is the requirement of the employees of our organization? If he doesn't come to know about the lack of confidence of their organization, then automatically the organization may fail in order to complete the task successfully. So if I want to complete, if as an entrepreneur, if my organization must be in the top position, then I have to listen to everyone. I have to listen to customers, I have to listen to the employees, as well as I have to listen to the suppliers, as well as I have to listen to the various people who acts as experts of business in and around the world. Then only you can come up with some new ideas and new techniques in order to develop some new products into the market. Entrepreneur, as soon as the word entrepreneur comes into the picture, you must have a tactics and a talent of how to manage the organization and how to satisfy the customer and how to make him to come back to the organization once again. That is possible only if you read the mind of customers, only if you read the requirement of the customers, and reading the requirement of the customers is possible by speaking to them. If you don't speak to them, it's impossible for us to do something and get it done and satisfy the customer. So that is why the information gathering is one of the most important characteristics of entrepreneur. And the last one is quality of work. Fifth one is quality of work. The entrepreneur must not sell the product which is not having a quality. Any product that you are going to sell it into the market, that particular product must have a very good quality, and they have to provide a very good service with minimum price amount. That is what the fifth point speaks about. And the sixth one is, what is the time? Okay. Sixth characteristics here is commitment of contractual obligations. See, sometimes I will be taking a contract of an employee from a particular customer. I will be taking a contract from a particular customer, and I will be starting the work. When I start the work, sometimes I may get some problems in between. When I get some problems in between, and if I say to the one who have given to the customer, the one who have given a contract to me, if I go to him and if I say that, sir, I am facing a problem with this and I am not able to move further, he will not listen. The contractor will not listen. He says that it is none of my business. I have given you a contract and you have to complete that particular work and you have to take your amount. He won't agree for the problems which I am facing. The problem which you are facing is your problem, isn't it? So entrepreneur must sacrifice some profit. Like if he gets some problem, there is some solution. So he has to in order to identify that particular solution, he may be in need of some economical background activity, or he may be in need of some influence from higher authorities and so on. So making his personal sacrifice is nothing but profit, whatever the profit that is expected by him. Like in this contract, I will get something around 50 lakhs. So when he starts the work, in between, if he get some problem, automatically that 50 lakhs may get converted to 30 lakhs profit. Why? Because there is some requirement of some other resources which need to be carried out, and he has to pay something for it. So he has to solve that particular problem, he has to sacrifice his time, he has to sacrifice his money, and he has to complete that particular work without any problem. Contractual obligations are nothing but sometimes in between while working we may face some problems. In between, if we face some problem, that problem is yours, and you have to, as an entrepreneur, that problem is yours. So if you want, you have to solve your problem by sacrificing some economical background of you, or by sacrificing some time which is present with you, or by doing something else, but the work has to be completed. That is what commitment of contractual obligation speaks about. Whereas efficiency oriented. What is efficiency here? What is the meaning of efficiency? You people came across with this particular word, efficiency, reliability, safety, security, all these things in software engineering, right? So what is the meaning of efficiency?
Ability.
Ability. Efficiency speaks about ability. Okay, any other answer? Amoga Asita, Bhagyalakshmi, Bharat KP, Durga Sri, Durga, Shreya, Dharani. Are you people there or sleeping? Or kept mobile somewhere and went out?
No doubt.
No, sir.
What is the meaning of efficiency? Dharani, efficiency andre ಏನಮ್ಮ?
ಇದು ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಎಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕೋದು.
Pardon?
ಹಾಂ ಸರ್.
ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಗೋದು ಸರ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಇರೋದು.
ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? See, okay, fine. I will come back to it, Dharani. Any other answer from anyone?
Efficient quality of efficient quality.
Efficient, quality of efficient quality. ಏನದ ಅರ್ಥ?
Sir, less input ಗೆ more output, sir.
Less input ಗೆ more output.
Sir, it's a factor to find our performance, sir.
Factor to find our performance. Fine. Any other answer?
ಇವಾಗ ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ದೀವೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಸರ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂತೀವಲ್ಲ.
ಅದ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂತೀಯಮ್ಮ? ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ನೀನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀನ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂತೀಯ?
ಅದು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟಿಗೆ ನಾವ್ ಇದೀವ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ನಿಂದ.
ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀರಾ ಹೇಳಿ, ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಅದೇ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀರಾ?
Output by input.
Output by
ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್.
quality of work. Fine. In the answer, and no, we have nearly 100 students right here. So I need at least 50 answers.
Based on our productivity, sir.
Based upon our productivity. Stephen Fall.
Working in a well-organized and competent way.
Working in a well-organized, competent way. Very good. Next. Abhishek, Aishwarya. Rahul, Mukta, Nitin. Yes? No answers.
By measuring the quality of the products for the given resources, sir.
By measuring the quality of work for the given resources. Fine.
Quality of work done within the respective time.
Quality of work done within a respective time. Fine. Any other answers? Still, I need answers. I am not getting a perfect answer from your end. Answers are nearer. Whatever the answers that you people are saying me are nearer to me, but I am not getting a proper meaning for it. In Kannada we call the, for efficiency we call, in Kannada we call it for samarthane or karya, we can also say it as karyakari. Why we call, where we say this particular word samarthane? ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಾಗೆ ಬೇಕಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಂಡ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್.
If he has a capacity to do that work.
If he has a capacity to do that work. See, when you are going, like ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀನು ಯಾವಾಗ
To do a given
ಸಮರ್ಥನೆ
work
ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ? ನಾನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಸಮರ್ಥನೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ ನಾವು? ನನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಸಮರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ?
When our work is appreciated, sir.
When your work is appreciated. See, samarthane comes into, like this particular efficiency comes into the picture if you are having a very good result and that particular result is obtained depending upon the type of work that the type of good quality of work you are carrying out. Efficiency oriented, when it comes to efficiency point of view, getting the appropriate output within the specified time and representing this particular product is more effective compared to other products. How, when you say, when I can say that my students are more effective is if my students are good in class, if my students are attentive in the class, and if my students are scoring is good, at the same time if my students behavior and attitude is good, then only I can say that my students are more effective than your students, isn't it? There are some measurements factors which we will be considering in order to measure the efficiency. When it comes to the point of students point of view, the teacher will some teachers will be measuring the measuring them by representing based upon the marks only. Like if the marks of a particular student is something around 90% and if the other student is having something around 60%, he say that 60% student is average and the 90%. This is what efficiency speaks about. This is nothing but the factor that one teacher has considered. Some teacher they will consider the factors like marks, behavior, attitude. If the marks is good and the behavior is also good, and if these three are satisfied, then he is a good student. If out of these three, if two satisfied, then he is considered as average. If out of three, if only one is satisfied, then he is considered as bad. So these are the factors that we consider in order to measure the efficiency of a student. Similarly, when it comes to the entrepreneur point of view, he has to find the various factors in order to identify the effectiveness, effective relationship and effective work of each and individual employee. Each and every employee in such a way that it will help the entrepreneur to know who is faster and who is slower. Efficiency oriented speaks about performance. The performance can be measured depending upon the factors, whether it may be related to the factors related to product development, or whether it may be the factors related to the identifying the efficiency of the employee, or whether it may be related to the identifying the economical background efficiency of an organization also. So finding out the various factors in order to measure different assets of an organization has to be carried out by the entrepreneur. And the word efficiency speaks about samarthane. It speaks about like this particular person is more effective. When we say that this particular person is good, is the right person to take up this particular subject. When we say that particular word, we will say that particular word by seeing the performance of him, on the subject which he has carried out earlier, isn't it? Based upon the performance, I am going to judge that this particular teacher is meant for this particular subject and he is good in this particular subject. Give that particular subject to him to teach the students. So this is what the efficiency speaks about. And in this particular, in terms of entrepreneur, he is the one who, the entrepreneur is the one who has to identify the various factors. Finding ways and means is nothing but identifying the various factors which are most essentially needed for him to judge the employee's behavior, judge the employee's efficiency, judge the productivity, judge the economical activities in the organization. With this particular factors will help him to identify the performance and working culture of the organization. Once the performance is good, then we call it as effective organization. Once the performance is bad, we call it as non-effective organization. So this is what about the efficiency orientation speaks about. So next one is planning. What is planning? What is the definition of planning? And how it is interrelated to an entrepreneur? What is planning?
Set of activities to be performed, sir.
Pardon?
Set of activities to be performed before taking up any task.
This set of activities to be performed before taking any task. Fine. Any other answer? Yes?
Deciding once.
Deciding in advance.
Advance.
Okay, fine, good. Next.
Planning is something which has to be decided in most advance about what has to be done, who has to be done, when has to be done, all things, sir.
It speaks about what, when, how, where. Isn't it? So, in what way this particular planning is related to entrepreneur?
Yes.
In what way this particular word planning is interrelated to entrepreneur? Yes?
The entrepreneur has to plan in advance about what he has to start, about like which organization he has to start and what are the things required for that, and whom he has to appoint to get done his job, and when he has to start something.
So it is nothing but a planning is an entire work which has to be carried out by the organization before starting up with any work. He is the one who has to decide that this particular project has to be given for team 1 or team 2 or team 3 or team 4 depending upon the strategy. So if I give to team 1, what is the time schedule that I have to fix and when it has to be completed and how it has to be completed. This is what the plan which has to be designed by the entrepreneur. And he will be giving the same thing to the team leader of that particular team. So the planning is a process wherein it speaks about what you are going to do, how you are going to do, when you are going to do, and where you are going to do. And once you start working, what is the final achievement that you are going to get? So it is what about the planning speaks about. So combining all the activities and combining all the activities in order to perform a various tasks and providing a perfect plan to complete the task is to be carried out by the entrepreneur. Okay, so the next one is problem solving capability. What is problem solving capability speaks about? Bringing some new innovative ideas and new techniques in order to solve a new problems into new problems. Problem solving is nothing but developing some new product. It speaks about solving some new problems and developing some new product and sending it into the market is nothing but problem solving process. New ideas and new techniques in order to solve a specific problem of an organization to be carried out by the entrepreneur of an organization. Whereas the 10th one is self-confidence. Without self-confidence, we can't say that he is a human being. Any person without a self-confidence, we say him as a person who is dead with only breath. So even an entrepreneur as well as employee, everyone requires this particular self-confidence. Without self-confidence, we can't complete the task successfully, or we can't achieve the task which we have to achieve for, cannot be done without self-confidence. What is self-confidence speaks about? Taking the decision and appropriate, like self-confidence, if you are confident enough in your work, then you can take your decisions on your own and you can complete the task within the specific period. If you are not self-confident, it's impossible for me to complete the task. Why? Because confidence is the one which can help us in order to move further and complete a big task which has been designed by us earlier. So self-confidence is most essentially needed for the entrepreneur in order to take certain decisions in different times and different situations, and once he takes the decision, he has to stick on to it. Once he says that you are fired from the organization, then he has to stick on to it. And he has to say, this is why you have been fired out, and this is the problem that we were facing for, and you will be nowhere concerned towards our organization from today. If he says that, he has to stick on to that particular thing. If he says that you are promoted, then he has to stick on to the part. Self-confidence is the one taking an appropriate decision and sticking on to that particular decision until he completes that particular work. Is the self-confidence process. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ನಾಳೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಸೇಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ 4 ಸತಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹಂಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಸೇ ಇಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. Is like if I say what is an entrepreneur, today is saying one solution, tomorrow is saying another solution, day after tomorrow is saying some other solution. So which one we have to consider? When this is the case, then automatically we say that particular person is the one who doesn't have a confidence in himself for defining this particular term called as entrepreneur. So this is what self-confidence also speaks about. One, the entrepreneur is the one who has to have who must have his own confidence in order to take his own particular decisions and stick according to those particular decisions in order to complete a specific task of an organization. So these are the 10 different characteristics which I need to discuss with you today. Tomorrow I will be discussing the remaining 5 points and remaining 5 points, and I will be moving further with the types of organization. Okay, so we have completed up to 10 characteristics right today. So tomorrow I will be starting up with the remaining concepts of characteristics, and I will be moving further with types of organization, and also we will be discussing about barriers of entrepreneurs and role of entrepreneur in economical development tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
So any problem, I think both B and C section is also involved in this particular class, right? So B section students, any problem?
No, sir.
Only one student from B section is present, or how many students are present? Only Pavani is speaking, remaining all are idle from B section. What about C section?
Understanding, sir.
Understanding. B section one student, C section one student ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, fine. So in the next class, I will be discussing about the remaining concepts. So, and I will be sharing the third module notes in all the 3 sections today itself. Okay, you can download and you can refer that particular notes for your third module. First and second module I have already shared with our A section students. You can collect it from them if you are in need. Okay, fine, thank you.